There's going to come a point in any logic course when you're going to have to evaluate arguments. And before you can do that, there are two features of arguments that are pertinent to evaluating them that we have to talk about. And those are an argument's form and its content. So this video, we're just going to work through what those two are. I'll offer you an example, and hopefully by the end you'll understand how both of these features of arguments play into an argument's evaluation, right? Where what we're evaluating for is whether the argument is, I'll say, good for now, and then there's more technical terminology that's worth learning a little bit later on in future videos. Okay, so arguments have form and content. Let's just go ahead and start off with a definition. So the form of an argument is the argument's structure. Specifically, it's the argument's logical structure. And exactly what that means we'll see in a moment. But the other feature that arguments have are the content. And the content of the argument is the substance of the argument. It's what the argument is about. So the form of the argument is what remains after you've removed the content. So, okay, that's abstract enough. Let's go ahead and consider an example just to make these two concepts much clearer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write a fairly straightforward, simple argument. And I'll say that this is the argument with with content. Here we go. Premise 1 says that all dogs are mammals. Apparently I forgot how to spell. There we go. And premise 2 says that all mammals are animals. And what follows from both of these, right? So if all dogs are mammals and all mammals are animals, then it just follows that all dogs are animals, right? So all dogs are animals. Simple, straightforward, easy, right? Okay, so this is the argument with content. Now let's go ahead and see if we can strip away the content of this argument, and I'll go ahead and I'll try to make that a bit easier for myself. Let's not. There we go. So I'm just going to copy this argument. I'm going to write it over here. And here I will say form only. So the content of this argument is all about dogs, mammals, and animals. If we strip away that content, what we will be left with is the argument's form. So I'm going to get rid of the words dogs, mammals, and animals. And I'm going to replace those with letters, right? And I'm going to be consistent throughout, right? So I'll use the letter A for dogs, B for mammals, and C for animals. And what we're going to have is all A are B, all B are C, so all A are C. And now, as we can see, this is the argument's logical form. It's what remains after we strip away the content. Now, here is why both of these features matter when it comes to evaluating an argument. The form of the argument shows us the inferential connections. Notice it doesn't matter whether we're talking about mammals and animals or triangles or whatever it is, right? What matters is if all A are B, whatever A and B might be, and all B are C, then it just follows that all A are C. That right there is an inference, right? And you can infer, of course you have to assume that the premises are true, not something worth worrying about right now. But given that, you know that the A stuff falls into the B category and the B category falls into the C category, it's just going to follow that the A stuff has to fall into the C category, right? And that's the value of looking at the form. It lets you know, without the distraction of the content, whether you've got a good inference going on. But obviously that's not the only thing that matters to the argument, right? So this stuff here, right, this shows you the inferences. But it's missing another crucial component. Are all A actually B, right? So for that, you're going to actually have to look at the content. So the form of the argument allows you to see the inferential connections, but you'll need the content when it comes to truth evaluation, right? Which is just a fancy way of saying you're going to want to know whether the premises of the argument are actually true, right? Both of these things will matter when it comes to evaluating arguments. So the form lets you see the inferential structure, and the content lets you see whether the premises of the argument are true or false. So you're going to need both of them. Now, in a future video, I'm going to talk about how it is that both of these things are actually evaluated to find out whether a deductive argument, in this case, is good. So stick around, and I will see you next time.